Guys, let's continue. One minute, please. With the next part. Um, Today's topic again, guys, very interesting. It has been added in our developer track as an overview perspective. But let's see how deep we can go in this particular topic. Okay. Topic name is kinesis. Okay. So let's see how depth we can go in this particular topic. So let me share my screen first. Okay. So the topic for today is kinesis. Okay. So first, let me explain you the use case of this particular service where it fitted in our particular requirement. Then we'll see some of the demo on this particular topic. Okay. So again, I'm talking more about AWS perspective. This is one of the topic we have in our developer track. Okay. So let's start. Okay. Let me give you the scenario first. Okay, where Kinesis as a service is going to help us. But if I very quickly go to our AWS portal and if I search for this service, Kinesis, it is something real-time streaming data. Okay, and it is a group of services. Okay, typically 3 service or I can say 4 service come in this group: data stream, Firehouse, data analytics, and video stream. Okay, but what is kinesis? Let me first explain you, then we move to the next part. Okay, so you can think in this way. Okay, let's say if you have a requirement, okay, and you have one server running in your environment. Okay, it may be running in on premises, maybe in your virtual box, or maybe it is running in your EC2 instances. So let's say this is your web server. Okay, and you guys know whenever any client hit to the web server, or not the web server, almost any of the server will generate a log. Okay, but the log generation, guys, would be as soon as the client hit, they generate the log. Again, they hit, they generate the log. So I can say the generation of the log is one kind of file. In the file, we have a data. Data is also known as record. Sometimes the record is known as event. So here in the log, the event is generating, okay, on the real time. Real time means as soon as the client hit, we will store the log here. So this concept, as you guys know, that nothing is special here. Okay, but let's say you have a requirement. Okay, as soon as the log generate or event generate, I want to do something on this log. Okay, maybe I would like to count how many. I'm checking for something, right? I'm checking for some kind of anomaly detection or some kind of maybe somebody is doing some kind of attack in my server. So normally anybody from security domain, we have a signatures. Okay, when this kind of signature match or event match, this might be look like some attacks is going on, or maybe any other requirement maybe. So let's take a very simple scenario. I want to check, okay, in totality, okay, in totality from today till now, the total numbers of guys connected to our website, count it or sum it, or total number of bytes transfer. Or maybe in my log, I might have lots of information gonna come up. So if you ever see any log file, so lots of information, guys, we normally store in the log file. Let's say my client IP address, or maybe my time stamp, maybe my which page they access, which browser they access, and status code and something like this. And we are more interested, okay, in to retrieve the client IPs. Because I want to check the total number of unique client that hit my site. Okay, so technically what I'm talking about, if you have any data that you are generating that is a real-time data, one of the example of real-time data may be log. Maybe one of the example of real-time data is IoT device. So your IoT device, guys, is keep on detecting your environment, depend which kind of device you have or sensors you have or actuators that you normally use in IoT devices you have. Okay. In a website, if somebody click on some link, that's called click stream. So every time they click, I want to store this thing that at this point in time, this client click on this page and something like this. So technically, whenever you have generating any data by a device or by a machine, by a program, those are known as machine generated data, and they're generating on the real time. Okay, if they're generating on the real time, okay, then I want to retrieve this data and do something on this data. Maybe some count. And when I say do something, maybe I'm talking more about analytics. So I want to do some analytics on this data. Okay. So for this, what can we do? There's a one service from AWS. From AWS, one service. What the service will do? Okay. This service has a capability to retrieve your live streaming data. Okay. That's all. That's the only thing this service will do. Okay, now this live streaming data coming from a click stream from website or IoT devices, or maybe some website server logs. Okay, so this service has a capability, okay, to retrieve your real-time data. And after they retrieve the real-time data, they will send this information to some other services. And these services, however they want to use this data, they can use it. Okay, so it is something like some intermediate program, something, in message queue we have discussed in SQS, something like message queue, but the only thing in message queue, one of the service called SQS that we already discussed. So message queue normally help us to do the same thing, retrieve some information, send to other program as a intermediate, but they are meant only for messages, small messages. Okay, something like this. Here we're talking about real-time data, maybe typical big messages, big information. Okay, or maybe sometime large object, binary large object kind of thing. So this service is meant for real-time, not processing, I can say, but whatever real-time data come up, this service will retrieve. Okay, store this message temporary here for some time. Something like this we are done in message queue. Okay, and when other program who want to use this information, they come retrieve this information and use it. Okay, so in this case, the system who generate the data, okay, are normally known as producers. So a web server IoT device may be known as producer, and the program, or maybe some of my analytics program. Okay, maybe some other kind of programs who want to use this information. Maybe this is IoT devices. I want to keep on sending my IoT message here. Okay, and maybe and we have some program. This program is keep on checking this messages after 1 hour. Maybe this is the temperature message or climate messages. So my program, after having 1 hour, they keep on coming and checking the current last 1 hour, temperature or some climate change or something like this. Okay, so it's based upon what kind of program you want to run here, who want to consume this information. So this program are normally known as consumers. Okay, so again, consumer as a program normally company create, the developer create. Okay, but obviously, guys, if you create some program, there might be some goal what exactly you want to do with this program. But normally program need a data. Okay, so from where we can pick the data, now we have some centralized service. They have a capability, we can store multiple data here. Okay, coming from multiple sources. Okay, so we can use database also, but here, guys, this is real-time streaming. Real-time data come up, and any real-time data come up from multiple different producers or sources. They come with very high speed. So database don't have a capability to to get your data with so much speed and store it and provide to the consumers. So here the concern would be the service more optimized for read and write or I/O performance, especially for real-time data. Real-time data. Okay, so what this service do? It is something like message queue. The major difference here is message queue we use to exchange the message from one program to other program in your multi-tier environment. Okay, but here this service that I'm talking about, let me reveal the name that you guys know. I'm talking about Kinesis. So Kinesis service is mostly like message queue, but here the source would be anybody in the world. Consumer program would be anybody in the world. Okay, they're not normally message queue we put between two microservices or two component of one big services, but here it would be any two services, and they are mainly for real time. I'm talking about Kinesis. Message queues for message queue that I already explained you in the message queue part. Okay, so this is the main role of the Kinesis, and guys, Kinesis come with 3 or 4 small services. The concept that I'm explaining you right now, this is more about one of service of Kinesis called data stream. Okay, so Kinesis is one big name. Okay, mainly the meant for real time. Okay, but if you search for Kinesis, it is for real time streaming, but it comes with a lot of feature, a lot of small services. One of the service that I'm talking about right now is called data streaming. Okay, it's not Firehouse, it's not video streaming, it is a data stream. Okay, so same thing. If you have some data also or some real-time data video gonna come up, and you want to capture the video, okay, then video streaming gonna come up. Same concept, but here data streaming will focus more on the data for IoT data or your web log data. Video streaming would be more focused on your video processing. Otherwise, the concept is something like this. Okay, so if I click on the Kinesis, okay, so they come up with 3 major services: collect stream data, streaming data that I already explained to you. Okay, so this is the first service that I want to discuss with you. Okay, especially for real time. Okay, so if you see here, data streaming is collect and store data. Collect gigabit of data per second. Okay, in the real time. Okay, so that what a data streaming service gonna do. Okay, but the point over here is, okay, how they collect the data. Okay, so from the producer, it is also known as source, you can say. So how they gonna collect this information? So there's a multiple way to collect this information. One of the way, they come with the Kinesis agent. Okay, Kinesis agent is one kind of program. Okay, that this program you can install in your respective operating system or the servers. Okay, and this program will collect the information and send to the Kinesis. Okay, so this is one of the way how we can collect the information. Other way would be, okay, maybe this may be one of your application, the web server, one of application written in Java or Python, and internally application they're generating a lot of data, and I want whatever data they generate, my application is the one who gonna produce this data. Okay, same application, right, can capture the data and send to us. So for this, Kinesis come with some library in Python, in Java. There's known as Kinesis producer library. Okay, so what can we do? We can provide this library to our developer. Which developer who write this application over here that is generating some data for some purpose. Okay, and so they write some code, what data they want to collect, and after they collect this data, they will send this data to the Kinesis service. Okay, or maybe one of the way, maybe SDK that is based on KPL only. SDK we have discussed, Boto3 SDK or something like this. They will also do the same thing for you. So if you want to collect the information, you can use SDK, KPL libraries, or agent to collect this information. Okay. So Kinesis data stream is to store, inject the means inject means you can think collect the information from multiple sources, mobile data, gaming data, and some other kind of data. Okay, so that's all, guys, about Kinesis data stream. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you here is, okay, maybe your data is coming with very high speed, your website is hitting like anything, lots of data they are generating. And obviously, guys, if you set up any services, our bottleneck is always your IO input output operations. Okay, so we have some limit. We have some limit how many data we can read or store. So what Kinesis give a capability, they say whenever we're collecting data, we create multiple small boxes here, normally known as shards. And one shard has a capability, I think you can check the document also, but as I remember, they can collect 1 MB or some MB data per second. So there is a normal speed a shard will gonna provide. So just go and check the actual speed, maybe in the document. I think it is 1 MB per second data you can retrieve in one shard. So if you think you are getting the data with the speed of 10 MB per second speed, you can create 10 shards. And shard is, you can think like a one box, okay, to store the data. So I told you guys, in the Kinesis we use here to collect the data and store it. So where they store the data, this concept called shards, they store it, and one shard speed is normally 1 Mbps. So data is coming with the 10 Mbps, and you know in the future this will become with this speed, you can create 10 shards. So to benefit, you get 10 shards. Okay, so we can collect the information in parallelism, right? So every shard will collect the information in parallel, and because we have 10 shards or 10 Mbps speed, you can create. So you can create as almost technically as much as shards you can create. And the Kinesis service is actually based on the shards, like these boxes. So they charge you per shard basis. So more shards you create, more charge they're gonna ask you. Okay, so this is one thing to keep in mind. Okay, now if consumer want to use this, so consumer will go and go to shards, and they go and consume, means collect the information and consume it. Okay, again, I think the speed of write is 1 Mbps. Again, you can go and check the document. Speed of reading is, I think, 2 Mbps per second. Okay, so that much speed you can get. Okay, but who gonna consume this? Again, it would be any of the program. Okay, mostly the analytics program, and not always analytics. Okay, maybe you want to store some data, and after data store, we have a Lambda as a service also. So Lambda also one who needs some information, they will go to shards or Kinesis service, and they consume the information. So Lambda will get this information and run some function as a services and run something on the top of these services. So maybe this is used by some analytics program. This analytics program maybe by you have created, or maybe Kinesis also come with their own analytics program that's called analytics. Okay, they will analyze your real-time data history. So it will be your analysis program or Kinesis analysis program, your Lambda services, or maybe some other services also who have a capability to contact to Kinesis. Okay, inside Kinesis, they go to these boxes, that's called shards, collect the information, means use the information, retrieve the information and use it. Okay, so think Kinesis is a one intermediate box. They have a capability to work on real-time data. Okay, but that's the only role of Kinesis data stream. But let's say you have a requirement, okay, after we collect the information, okay, you want to store this information. You don't want to use it, you want to store it. You don't want to do any kind of processing on the data or maybe any analytics on the data. This data coming from multiple web server logs on the real time, and finally you want to store this data, let's say in S3, or let's say I'm in some data warehouse solution called Redshift, or maybe some database like say RDS. Okay, so you want to store this data in some storage. It may be databases, NoSQL, data warehouses, object storage, whatever the case would be. So we got some more program from AWS that has a capability to go to Kinesis data stream, contact to them, contact to their shards, collect the information, and store this information in some storage. Okay, so this program is again provided by AWS. Again, is a part of Kinesis only, and program is called Firehouse. This one, Firehouse. Okay, so they have a capability to collect the data from the Kinesis data stream and store in some of the storage. Plus, also they have also one more capability. Okay, after they collect the information. Okay, guys, in normal world, it is known as extract. And before they store the information, is normally also known as load. They also have a capability to convert your data in some other form. Okay, some other form. So maybe I am coming with some of my size of my total byte transfer, and this size may be bytes, and before I store, I want to convert to kilobytes. Very simple one. Or maybe the time is I want to put it only read to my month or date. Okay, or maybe any other requirement. Okay, so Firehouse has a capability to transform your data before they store. So that this is, you guys know, this is called ETL operation. So Firehouse has a capability to extract the data, transform it if you want, it is not compulsory, and then store in some storage. Okay, and after they store in the storage, in the future you can use this data as a storage, or maybe in the future, right now we don't need it, but in the future you want to do some analytics on the top of this. Okay, so this is for real-time analytics, but maybe in the future I want to do further analytics on my historical data that I stored over here. We can do it, or whatever the case would be. You can do it. Okay, so if you search about Firehouse, it process means transform the data, and deliver means load or save the data. There was, guys, prepare and load the data into your data store, for example, S3. Okay, so again, Kinesis come with a lot of services. Okay, so we can collect the things, extract, process the thing, transform, and analyze maybe, or then we can store it. Okay, now it is your choice. You want to use data stream, only Firehouse, or both, both together, connect together, and take other services. So it will be your choice. However you want to use, you can use it. Okay, but maybe there might possibility. The possibility after you store in Kinesis data stream, you only gonna consume it. And for this, your developer can write their own code. But they come up with their own library by AWS called KCL library, Kinesis client library. So I can find this library for Java, Python, some other languages also. So this is some library come up where I can give to my developer. They can write the code and they say, this is data. This is the data we have, and we want to use this data in our application. And for this, we use KCL library. Okay. Sorry. So that's what it was. So this is the high level idea about a Kinesis service. I just want to point you one more thing here. We are into developer track. Okay, Kinesis is one of the services that normally come in the specialized part of data analytics. So AWS has one advanced course on data analytics that there they cover Kinesis in very detail, even though I'm trying to touch lots of concepts here. Okay, but yeah, obviously we won't cover everything here. Okay, but let me show you some of the practical as much as I can show you and the developer. Okay, guys, can you hold for a second, please? So guys, give me 1 minute. We have some quick announcement. Then we'll proceed with this practical, how we can set up this.
Good evening, everybody. This is Preeti. We had a very quick and a superb announcement for specifically for the Earth learners. At the same time, also would be referring to other ones who have been associated with us. So this is specifically for my very own Earth learners. Few days ago, we had scheduled for a charitable technical workshop on Salesforce, which you all remember, for which we all had contributed towards Serve Humanity by contributing whatever amount you all had paid for this workshop, be it, say, example, 1 rupee, 10 rupee, whatever, XYZ, 500 rupees, whatever you all had paid had been utilized to serve the humanity during this tough time. I hope you all remember that, and for which Vimal sir had delivered a session for 2.5, 3 hours. Now, there were two options to take it forward, but we were thinking that when we were doing our research, we got to know that Salesforce has a great demand in the market from the perspective of all the big fours I'm referring to. Specifically, when I say big fours means PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, and all of these, EY. So these companies and many more such other great consulting companies are looking for Salesforce consultants, which we were in discussion with. So we thought that let's make this kind of a training itself, for more 8 to 10 hours, other than what Vimal sir had already delivered for you all. So we went ahead with the specialization, and we were having a word with ample of people from this industry who are working on Salesforce since long, say 5 years, 8 years. What does the industry need? What kind of interview questions have been asked? What are expected? Are freshers open for placements in terms of Salesforce consultant? And you won't believe it, maximum of these questions were answered by saying yes. And that was a great opportunity, which I thought would be for my Earth learners. So we are proceeding ahead with this program in, I would not say, definitely not in a form of a workshop, the way you all entitle it as a workshop. For us, it is a workshop is a very big name, because you get something which you generally don't get in any other specialized trainings also. That is what you get in a workshop. That's what is the actual meaning of workshop. But let's not name it as a workshop. And I would say a detailed kind of a training on Salesforce, which will give you something about Salesforce developer and Salesforce CRM as well, which is the most demanded module in Salesforce. So we, for this, we got an industry expert for you all. Okay, he is an international sales coach and has trained thousands of sales corporate professionals globally on CRMs like Salesforce, HubSpot, and Zoho, and many more. And he started his consulting way back in 2013 and has got clients all over 30 plus countries, and prominent clients are like, Let's Upgrade, Career Step, and you have this Success Resources, which is, Tony Robbins. And I am sure you all would have heard about Startup 88, which is Australia based. So all of these are that like the client, for all of these. So I thought it's better to get him on board, because he will be able to give us crux of Salesforce, because he's been working on this domain since long. And so fortunately, we are able to get him on this. He's also a copywriter, a book writer, and an established mentor, for many of them. So we'll be having this session tomorrow from 10 a.m. onwards. We'll be having on this Sunday, and we'll be having on the next Sunday as well. So as I mentioned, we're going in more detail and more depth rather than just keeping it in a workshop, other than what Vimal sir has already delivered. So this is what it is. So we'll be starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm also referring to the ones from AWS in case if you all had registered for this workshop, then you all will be also be getting the information in the respective WhatsApp group. This is what I had to communicate to you all. I hope it is very clear for everybody of you all now. So this is the next thing. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. we have this coming up, and it's going to be really great. Trust me, guys. It's going to be a super program. At the end, you will tell me that, wow, such an amazing thing to take it forward. So this is it. Okay, fine. Perfect. Thank you so much. And over to Vimal sir for the further session. Thank you. Just to clarify, we don't have any other cost associated with this, correct? Whatever you all had paid earlier for contributing towards this charitable technical workshop, whatever amount, whatever, 50, 100, 200, 300, whatever amount you had contributed, that's the thing. We're not charging anything extra from anybody for this program. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So, so guys, let's continue. Let me show you how we can do it. So first, exactly what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure Kinesis data stream. What it will do for you, okay? It is just helping you to store your data temporarily. Okay, so I think the time they can store the data is around 1 hour to some number days, or I think 1 year. Again, go and check the document where you can see the clarity. But I think the data they store in the data stream in their boxes, there's shards. Why we need shard? So we can store and get the data in parallel. Okay, so I think the retention period, how much time they store the data in their shards over here is I think by default is 1 day, but you can increase to 365 days also. And that is more than enough. We don't need the data more because this data is stored as a temporary basis. Okay, so from the producer, okay, the guy who generated the data, we send here. Okay, where? In my data stream. And who gonna use maybe some other program? They are normally known as consumers. They are one who gonna consume this information. Okay, so there's no Firehose. This is just a data stream service. Okay, so let me show you guys how we can set up the data stream. It's actually very simple to set up the data stream, nothing very special. I click on the data stream. There's an option called create a data stream. Just give a data stream a name. So let's say the name is AWS Dev stream. Okay, or maybe let's say developer stream. That's all. Okay, so this is just a stream name. You can think stream like as a database, but is known as stream. What is the capacity of this stream? Means how many shards you need. I think here they show you if you inject the data, that's called write, 1 MB speed they achieve. Okay, or if you emit the data, means read 2 Mbps speed, you're gonna get it. Okay, so how many shards you can put here? Minimum 1 and maximum 200. So if you add 1, so this is the speed you are getting. But if you add 10 shards, your speed of read and write are gonna increase. But again, they will charge you. They will charge you per 10 shards. So for our demo, one shard would be enough. Okay, and that's all. So there's so much simple to create data. That's all, guys. By default, guys, retention time for storing data is 1 day. That's enough for us, right? Okay, so how producer gonna put the record? We don't have any graphical way here. Okay, we have to go to producer, okay, like a web server, and after we go to producer, we can install the agent. It's still on Java agent. We can install there. Okay, they collect the information, sent to it, or we can use some SDK like Boto3 or something like this, or maybe some kind of KPL library to develop for the producers. Okay, so there's multiple way to put the record into the data stream. Similarly, you want to use this data, it's called consumer. So again, they have a multiple way to consume it. Again, you can consume by the analytics tool that I already explained to you, or by KCL again library. That is again your developer will gonna write this, or maybe you can use Firehose that collect the information and store in some destination. Okay, so something like this. So right now, guys, I'm not using any of this method. Even though I can say I'm going to use this method SDK to store the data in this stream. Okay, and you guys know SDK is if you go to Python is Boto3, but if you go to command line also, AWS command guys also built on the top of SDK. So they're also using some Boto3 library. So this command is also like a SDK. So I'm going to use command line tool to store the record in our data stream. Okay, so let's see how we can store the data here. Just as a demonstration purpose. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to first show you how can you reuse this data stream from the command line. So in AWS, we have a Kinesis as a sub option. Okay, and if you want to describe about your stream, okay, and here you can give your stream name. That is, my name is called dev stream. Okay, just check this command line working or not. I have a login or not. Okay, and what a stream we have created from the command line can be able to access or not. Okay, so let me run this command. And this command has a capability. They say, yeah, your stream is active right now. 24-hour is your retention period, and something like this. You have one shard, and shard also have a name. This let's say 0. Okay, so these information, guys, they retrieve you. Okay, so so there's a guys by default this command gonna tell. So technically, whatever we have created is working fine till now. We have the stream been accessed. But my plan is to store the record. So let's say I am the producer. Okay, and let's say I'm the producer and I'm going to produce some information that is also known as a record. So if you see the help of this command, or maybe go into help, you can see there's one option they come up with. It's called put record. Okay, so this option, this command, guys, let me again run. This command has a capability to put the record as a producer into your stream. Obviously, what they're asking, you have to provide your stream name. That is compulsory because you might have multiple stream. So provide a stream name. In my case, the stream name is dev stream that I already created. Okay. Second thing, they're asking you your data. Okay, so let's say this is my first data by Linux World, or maybe this is data of one of your log or event from your Apache web server. Okay, then you have to give your it's called partition key. So what is partition key? You can think whenever any source sending the data Okay, they send two information. Okay, they send two information. First, they send a payload that is equals to your data, maybe your record, and every payload or the information, guys, they add with some unique key. Let's say variable X or variable Y, something like key. Okay, and this key, guys, here is known as partition key. Why are we doing this? Because maybe your source is sending multiple different data or multiple different log. Okay, so let's say whenever they're sending any web log, so I create a key, let's say web key. So whenever, guys, I sending any web log, I want all this log stored by this key. Okay, key is something like a tag. Okay, so in the future, if you're looking for any log or any information for web key, we can search and say any key that is web key come in the web partition, let's retrieve. Because in one stream you have multiple shards, but multiple shards can store multiple information from multiple sources. To differentiate the information, we can attach with one key that is called partition key. Okay, that's what they're asking. So let me add web key. It is a unique name. So any data coming from web server attached with this key, any data come from database server attached with different key, and something like this. Okay, so that's what, guys, we have to do. Okay, so they fail here because if you're sending a data, you have to send the data in some base 64 format. So either you go to some tool and convert into base 64. You guys know, maybe we have used multiple times. Or if you don't want to convert first into base 64, I want my command will auto create for us. So there's one command here, option called row in base 64 out. Okay, so there's one option here. Okay, it's called -CLI binary format. What by this option means, okay, whatever data we are providing as a text, first convert into base 64 and then send. Either you create it by yourself or this option will auto create for you. Okay, so this is the first information we have stored. We have stored, and guys, if you see, guys, they store in our shard number 0 because we only one shard, so they store in our shard number 0. Okay, so so let me put the command so I can share this command to you. Okay, so this is one of data we have sent. Let me store one more data. So let me write here data number 2, second data. So they both are stored in the same key that's called web key. Okay, in the same shard because we only one box or one shard to store the information there. Okay, so so now, guys, this is the role of the producer. Okay, now how are we going to consume for this? Either you can create your own tool in Python or some analytics tool you can use and something like this, or if you want to check as a command line. So let's say I'm creating myself as a consumer. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I say AWS, just go and contact to Kinesis service. Okay, and there's a records. I want to collect the records. Collect the record. Okay, so before this, what I'm going to do, okay, what I'm going to do, let's say in here we have option called get shard iterator. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to retrieve my shard. Okay, from which stream? So here they're asking you about the stream name. So my stream name we know is called where it is. It's called dev stream. Okay, you have to give you have to give your shard ID. You might have multiple shards here, but right now we have only one shard. So by chance we know the ID. Either check from here or check from your web console. You might get the ID there. So go to this box, and what is the type? iterate type means how you want to iterate the information. So there's a multiple iterated type available, guys. How you want to iterate means retrieve the information. So if you search AWS, this type, so there's a multiple different iterated type available. Okay, you want to read sequentially or how. Okay, so multiple different types they have. So I'm going to use the trim horizon. Okay, so they start with the last pointer and something like this. Older records first. Okay, or latest data. So what you want to retrieve with timestamp, latest data, oldest data. So I would like to use with the last trim report. Okay. So trim horizon I would like to use. Okay, now if you guys see here, they retrieve this information for us. Again, this is a base encoded, but you guys know how to decode the data. Multiple tool we have. So let me very quickly use. You can find a lot of base 64 decoder. Let me use one of the decoder. Okay, and if you put this information, paste here, okay, and try to decode. Okay, guys, this information gonna come up. Okay, so I don't know why they convert in this format. There's some extra space gonna come up. I don't know why. Very good. They should convert into some normal format. But maybe let me show you one more way we have to we can retrieve this information. Okay, so it should work. I don't know. It should be decoded in normal text. But let me use in AWS Kinesis. Okay, I will say I want to get a records. Okay, here they ask you your shard editor. Okay, and I say whatever it would be. So, so 1 minute, please. Okay, 1 minute. Let me check what option they support here. Get shaded type. Guys, this is the value. Again, let me use trim horizon. So these are types they support. Sorry, shard editor. So this all guys command we have used shard editor. 1 minute, please. So option I was looking for this one. So describe stream we have done. List stream. So you can see the stream list. Put record we have seen. Okay, get record. That's what I have done. Stream name. And also we can get the record. Okay, guys, you can actually, this is the, so I'm so sorry. I was thinking something else. Okay, so actually, you know what, 1 minute, please. Let me go back to this command. So whatever guys information they give you, actually, I thought they give the information base encode. That's actually iterator they give to you to convert this iterator, okay, into a normal format. There's a different actually binary type. This is they won't be able to show you. So these are options guys we have. So I'm so sorry. I was thinking something else. Okay, so you can use this option. Okay, and if you pass this iterator information, they will convert into your normal format. Now guys, this come on. Okay, now because we put two records So 2 records gonna come up, and they also store the time at what time we store this. So technically here, guys, they show you base encoded. Rather than they show you your actual data, they store the base encode form that you can convert very quickly here. Okay. Decode, and now if you see first data by Linux world, and if you pick second record, also here, and convert, and this is second data. Sorry, I haven't copied. So second data by Linux world. So whatever, guys, if we produce, we have a capability to retrieve also. Okay, right now I'm just showing you with the command line, but our developer will create some code in respective languages, and those languages will have a capability to retrieve the information, and they're going to use in their respective program. Okay, so something else. So just want to prove you and show you this is how it works. So that this is about data streaming. Okay, but if you want to use Firehose service also, so let me show you this demo also. So what I want to do here, so we have some S3 bucket. Let me search for S3. Okay, so we have some S3 bucket, and what I want, so we have already have bucket created. Sorry, let's say AWS HT DS 1 2 3. So this is the condition of this bucket right now. In this bucket, as such, we don't have anything. Let me, if you have, let me delete. So this bucket is empty. Is empty. Okay. So what I want in this particular bucket, okay, I want whatever data we are collecting in Kinesis data stream, I want my Firehose service, okay, gonna retrieve the information. Maybe if you want transform, they transfer and they will store in S3. This ETL operation I want to do here. Okay, so how we can do it? So for this, I'll go to Kinesis again. Okay, if I go to dashboard, so we had created one data stream. We don't have any Firehose here. So let me create one delivery stream. Okay, and let me give a name. Let's say web delivery underscore Firehose something. Okay, choose the source. So where is your source? And choose the destination, ET, and if you want to process, it's called T, ETL operation. Okay, so you want to put the data directly from CloudWatch also. They also have, guys, capability to get the data directly also as a source. So this also has capability. You don't have to use Kinesis data stream in between, or you have to get the data from Kinesis data stream. So we have this stream already created. Let me use this. Okay, so this is what we have added as a source. Okay, if you go next, then where do you want to process the record? Okay, so for this you can add some lambda function. So I don't want to process right now to convert your data to transform and something like this. So I don't want to do this. Or if you want to convert your data in some format, maybe in JSON data to maybe there's different data format available. Okay, this called ORC and Parquet and something like this. If you know about this world, so you want to convert to Parquet format, OCR format. If you store in this format, the queries will be more efficient than JSON. So because the way they stored, the way you create a Parquet and ORC format, they are technically some kind of binary format. Okay, and this guy has a capability to retrieve your data faster in the terms of query. Okay, so I don't want to do any kind of format conversion here. I want to store my data as is. Okay, this is called something called SERDI. I don't want to any SERDI operation here. Okay, so guys, again, this is now the analytics class. Okay, there we'll talk about this concept in very more in detail. Even I'm to touch as much as information I can give in this developer track. Click next. So I'm not doing anything. But where is your destination? You have to send your data to some third point or S3 point or S3 or some other service like Elasticsearch, something Elasticsearch, Kibana, ELK service and something like this, right? So where you want to send this information? Right now I'm sending guys in S3. Okay, but one of the interesting feature that I love about this service is third-party service provider that we use very heavily because normally in the company we have a lot of analytics tool. Okay, like like Datadog, like Splunk. Okay, so they have a capability to send directly data in Splunk also. So if we see guys third-party service provider, so Dynatrace, Datadog, okay, or New Relic, Splunk, okay, these guys has a capability. Okay, so anybody who know about this tool, very powerful, especially Splunk and other tools, so you guys can try this option. But right now I'm just putting in the S3. Okay, so where's your S3? So bucket I'm going to use is this one. Okay, and in the bucket you want to add some extra prefix and something like this that you want to store the data with year, month, and hours. So I don't need right now. Okay, click next. Okay, so it's a buffer size. So data warehouse, Firehouse has the capability. Whatever data come up before the delivery S3, they will store in their buffer for this much second. Okay, so let me change to 30 seconds. Actually, minimum is 60. So before they send to S3, they keep on storing in their storage. This is called buffer. Okay, and they store there. Let me give the buffer size 1 MB. Okay, and before the delivery, do you want to do any kind of compression on the data? So multiple different compression they support. Even they have Hadoop compatible compression also. They want to do encryption also, logging also. So lots of options they support over here. And obviously, guys, they will auto create your IAM role for you. Okay, click next. And finally, if I click, they create the string. So what you are expecting here, after 60 seconds, okay, your Firehouse store, not 50 seconds, right now they started. So they start collecting the data from your data stream, okay, and start storing in S. And this is a real time. So as soon as data come up, they store it. As soon as data come up, they store it. Now you don't have to do anything. You can think it's like a hands-free. Okay, as soon as the data come up, real time for IoT and something like this, and they start storing in your respective data stream, not data stream, S. So let's see in this particular storage, if I refresh, data will come up, but yeah, they have a buffer size of 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, you will see it. Okay, so this is about like Kinesis. Again, guys, this is a developer track. We have a very high level overview, but I'm trying to show you how the thing works, so you have better understanding and the idea of producer, consumer, data streaming, Firehouse, and other things also. So that much information, guys, right now maybe enough. Okay, so let's move again to DynamoDB very quickly. I'm just still waiting for data to come up. Let's say, so I just want to show you if your data is already stored, does that come up or any real-time data come? So it's like 2049. After 1 minute, we'll check. Does come up not? I just want to show you okay, the data that is already stored is come up, or the data that is gonna come up in the future, let's go real time, they will come to us. Okay, so by the meantime, I will show this demo. Let again move service called DynamoDB. Okay, because there's some small concept of DynamoDB left. So let me explain this concept very quickly. Okay, so what is DynamoDB? Other thing, guys, we have already discussed lots of information. I explained to you about table, how they create a cluster. Okay, read capacity, write capacity, what is sorting key, okay, auto scaling, okay, what is partition key, everything I explained to you. Okay, one more concept I want to explain you about DynamoDB is guys, whatever short key you create, okay, so short key is, guys, automatically create sorting for you, okay, with the help of concept called indexing. I say they automatically create indexes for you. And what is use of indexes, guys? I already explained to you, because they create the index in the terms of sorting order. So in the future, if you want to search something, it will very quickly. Okay, but you can only search with the help of customer ID. So in this table, guys, if you want to search something for the customer ID as item, you can search. So right now, if you search with the customer ID, you can search. You can search with other things also, I show you, but I'm talking about, it's not about searching, how quickly you can search, that's matter. The customer IDs are indexed. Okay, there's a guys, they show you here also, customer ID, because this is my index, or also known as primary index. Okay, so if you search with this, your comparator, the searching speed will be log n. What is log n? If you know about binary search, that much speed they can search. But in the future, guys, maybe you have a requirement, you want to search with the mobile numbers. Speed of searching would be n. So anybody who know about big O notation and speed, they search. So there is no guarantee your record will be in the last, in billions of record, they will go to all the code and the search there. So speed will be very comparative, very slow. But let's say your table is created. After your table created, and you have a requirement that I also want to search with the help of mobile number, okay, with the power of indexing. So in the future also, guys, you can create a global indexes, or I can say secondary indexes. Okay, so how can you create an index in the future? Okay, for this, there's an option called indexes here. And here we are going to create a second index. They're allowed to query efficiently with over any of the field or attribute in your data table. Okay. Now, even though you can add even the attribute that is not present in the future, but you're going to add in the future also. So let's say maybe your ID, employee ID is not there, but you can create index with the employee ID. Okay, but in the future, as your employee ID come up, they start storing in the sorted order. Okay, so how to create an index? Pretty simple. Click on the index. Okay, give your person key. So in my case, my primary key was city. City. Next name. Okay, so it's sorting key. So my sorting key would be, let's say, mobile number. Full. So any mobile number come up, they will create an index of the mobile number. Okay, here you can set your read write capacity also. Let me go for 1. Okay, but there's enough because we have not so much data right now. So in the future, guys, if you want to add any of the attribute as your sorting key, or want to create an index, something same, something, those that are so much related. So you can create a secondary index of it. Okay. So if I click, they will add for us. So whenever they find any mobile, I don't have right now because we is mob, but in the future, if I add any field as a mobile, okay, they will create indexes for us. Okay, means technically we can search very quickly. Okay, so that's what they will do for you. Okay, but one more guys kind of secondary index we have. This is called global secondary index. But one more kind of second index we have is called local second index that you have to create at the time of creation of this table. Okay, so global second index guys, you can create a lot, even though after table created, even though column is not available, we can create it. Okay, but there's one more kind of index. Logic is same. Okay, but you have to create that index at the time of sorry, let me refresh. So you have to create this index at the time of creating the table. So let me show you very quickly. Let me create one more table. Table name is let's say Alliance word table. Here the primary key may be the student ID. I'm going to add a sort key, and sort key may be let's say mobile. Okay, and here guys, they by default they don't create any secondary indexes, but here I can say, and I want to create a second index. Or let me add it. Right now, understand one thing, guys. My pattern key is student ID. So let me add an index. Okay, and if I'm giving my my index name, let's say email or maybe city. So by default, guys, they do the same thing what I did already. It's called global second index. They're gonna create. They will show you manually. This thing, guys, you can do. This thing you can do after your creation of table also. This option, guys, called local secondary index. Option is grayed out. You can only create local secondary index if your primary key is same. Okay. If you create the primary key with the student ID, there's one more please. With the student ID. Okay. If you add the secondary key, okay. So if you give the student ID, this option automatically comes up. But if you try to create any other primary key, they will show you, for example, city. This also grayed out. So local secondary index again work the same way, but it will create at the time of table creation. Sometimes it's useful, but it is only work if your primary key is the same. Sort key will be anything. Let's say maybe city, and I want this would be my LSI. Okay, so what is partition key? You guys already know. So inside this partition key, they're going to create one more extra short key. Okay, one short key I already here had it is mobile, but they will add one more at the same partition key. So this is known as LSI. Okay, local second index. So if I create this table, create. So this is a small difference between LSI and GSI, but logic-wise, both are for index. Okay, now in this table, whatever data we put, we can search with both mobile and city. Even this, we can search with the attribute also, but if you search with mobile and city, the searching would be very faster because they create an index for you, means called sorting order for you. Okay, so that's what also comes. So there's one more info, guys, I want to show you with the DynamoDB. Otherwise, a lot of other information I already explained you in my last class. There's one more small feature I'm not going to show you as a demo. Okay, but if in the DynamoDB, there's a concept called DEX. What DEX will do for you? Okay, it is an accelerator. So guys, only DynamoDB is very fast in the terms of read and write of your data for database or no SQL. Okay, but but they will create an extra cache for you. Okay, so if you read any data, from DynamoDB, they create a local caching server. There's a highly available and in-memory cache. They do. Guys, in Memcache service we have discussed. So Memcache, guys, we have discussed with terms of web application. So if you want to maintain any session information, you can go for Redis or Memcached. Same concept, but here DEX or DynamoDB Accelerator, okay, is one extra cluster you can add, something like Memcached or Redis. Okay, so our query will be always go via this cluster. So whatever data you read, they will create a cache for some time. This is called TTL. Okay, and what is cache? You have guys discussed multiple times, multiple different services we have discussed. Even the global accelerator also one kind of cache service for other purpose. Okay, so this is only meant for DynamoDB. So I'm not going to show you the demo, but knowing this knowledge is enough right now. Again, if you go for there's one more training in AWS called Database Specialized Program. There we cover this service in detail. But this much knowledge is enough right now. What DEX will do for you. It's a cache service on the top of DynamoDB. Otherwise, you can go and click and create the cluster with some cluster size. It is only for cache memory on the top of your table. Okay, and we can set the detail time also, how much time you want to make the caches, and some other things also. So I'm not showing you right now this service. Okay, but it's a part of DynamoDB. It's very interesting service, but only for cache memory. Okay, so again, this is about DynamoDB. Let's go back very quickly to Kinesis. And let's see. Till now, guys, data has not come up. Why? Because it's real-time streaming services. Okay. Now, when you send any new data, okay. So let me put one more new record. Okay. So let's say this data I'm storing for Firehose for testing. Okay, so now this is real-time streaming. Okay, if you go to S3, it will come up again after 60 seconds because we put in a buffer for 60 seconds. Okay, so this is real-time. So as soon as real-time data come up, they will store in the Firehose. Only condition is if you put the proper IAM role. I think IAM role is already created by this guy. I don't have to check, but maybe now data is not coming. So the possibility may be because of the IAM role. Okay. So like this is two more important services is there in the developer track that we have covered. Okay. Now there's I need one more class, guys, because there's small topic left. Okay, as an overview perspective in the developer track. It's not at all the part of developer track, but it's there in a program. Okay, if you see the agenda also of what we have shared you guys initially, I already opened the agenda for you. So this is an entire agenda of the developer track that we have shared you initially. And you see, guys, here almost all the topic we have covered. We have a small topic left as an overview perspective. Okay, so before this, I just need one more class to cover those topics. Okay, so I will take as an overview because I try to touch guys in all the topic as much as advanced we can go with respect to this developer track, but I don't want to consume further time. Okay, so just one class maybe tomorrow we'll do and we'll complete that developer track. Okay, and I'm repeating, tomorrow class will be I'll trying to touch all the small services, a small topic I can say not services. Okay, and I'll give the overview that is more than enough for the developer track. Okay, so this is the further plan. And now if I go to S3 again, if every IAM role is good, so this will come up and that says come up. And guys, they automatically create per month, per year partisans. So 2021, 6th June, today's date. Okay, they create this file. And if you try to open this file, open. Okay, what you will find? You will find whatever guys format they have. Just go and open the file. Okay, and you will find, or this is the URL they give you. Sorry. Okay, so the open the file and you will see the data, or maybe make this file right now publicly. Okay, so if I open this URL, okay, just click. I think the URL is already downloaded, and click. I just want to show you the data is come on. Okay, it's just a file. I open with Notepad. Data come. Okay, so working fine. So we have successfully integrated with producer to consumer to Firehose to S3, and everything working great. So this guys, again, for more practicals we have done. I'll share these commands to you, what I write over here. Okay, so that's all for today. Just one more class we need. Okay, then we conclude this part, right? Yes, Ajit, you're right. Prometheus also used for collection the metrics, but that is more about collection the metrics. And Kinesis is more about collecting the logs. Okay, so Prometheus is meant for time series data, mainly technically called metrics. Kinesis is mainly for log or clickstream or IoT information. I know, Mohammed, right now I have no plan for Anthos workshop, but yeah, we might come up with the Anthos workshop or maybe course in the future. uh, when RSS class is RSS, Anuj, there's very limited topic left. Mostly 2 or 3 topics. Almost everything I covered. I'm talking about my ISC Rise channel. It is a free classes. I think talking about that one only. Okay, so we'll soon cover those classes also. So who will use Kinesis or Netflix? Devanshu, for this you can check. They have multiple case studies of the companies who will use Kinesis. You will get the idea. But yeah, a lot of company is using Kinesis. Yes, Ahmad, we also plan to have a Splunk training also in the future. We'll update you guys in my future classes. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. We'll see you in the next class. Take care. So I'll share this code, use it, practice it. That's all. Bye. Take care.